Hello again, NBA fans, and welcome back to another Latest Hoops exclusive video. We know you've missed us, but fear not, we're back with some more awesome basketball content for all you lovely people. Today we're taking a look at one half of one of the most dominant duos in the NBA in the 2000s. A pairing that holds a special place in the heart of Houston Rockets fans all over the world and who many thought were destined to bring another NBA championship to the franchise. Of course, we're talking about Tracy McGrady, running mate of Yao Ming and one of the greatest scorers the NBA has ever seen. Before we get into just how good some of the legends of the game think McGrady really was,
are you a business owner looking to stand out? Let your brand shine, literally, with a custom neon sign from Glow Neo, transforming your logo into a vibrant LED masterpiece that grabs attention day or night. Whether it's a storefront, office, or event space, neon signage sets you apart from the competition. Plus, with our free design preview and fast turnaround, it's never been easier. Ready to light up your business? Visit glowneo.com and go to the Business Neons page and fill out the form. Get started today.
Now that you're up to speed, let's talk Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady is a 7-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA First-Team Selection, 2-time scoring champion, and a member of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. He's probably best remembered for scoring 13 points in 35 seconds against eventual NBA champions, the San Antonio Spurs, in the 2004-2005 regular season. However, his glittering career contained many memorable moments. His offensive abilities made him a nightmare to play against on most nights regardless of opposition. In fact, he was so explosive offensively that he averaged 24 points per game or more for 8 consecutive seasons, 2 of which resulted in him lifting scoring titles. And so it's little surprise that the talented small forward has several admirers, many of whom are legends of the game. We've put together some of those opinions of the greats of the game for you in this video. So without further ado, let's get started by taking a look at what fellow Houston Rockets icon and NBA great Yao Ming thinks of how good his former teammate was in his prime. Yao Ming is considered by many to be one of the best big men the league has ever seen. Like McGrady, the Chinese phenom's career is a massive what-if due to the early retirement he was forced into after sustaining several serious injuries in a short space of time. However, the brief period he did spend with McGrady in Houston gave him more than enough time to understand just how talented a player he was sharing a basketball court with. Yao Ming did an interview with NBA analyst and journalist David Aldridge, in which he talked about how he felt when McGrady arrived in Houston. When asked if he thought the Rockets would win several championships with McGrady arriving, Yao said, "I didn't think that way. I thought we would win the first one, and then about later." He also said, "I still remember the first practice we went together in training camp. It was amazing. You know, when you play in games, you're more serious about it and you won't risk some plays. But in practice, you're more open to try new skills you developed in the summer. So in the first practice, I remember it was amazing. It was amazing." Clearly, Yao Ming was mightily impressed by McGrady's abilities on the basketball court if he thought the small forward was a guarantee of at least one championship in Houston and also managed to blow the Chinese star away in their first ever practice together. He wasn't the only one amazed by McGrady's abilities either. Hall of Fame point guard Isaiah Thomas is the man responsible for drafting McGrady into the league as part of the Toronto Raptors in 1997. Thomas was the executive VP of basketball operations for the Raptors at the time and has since shed light on his decision to draft McGrady. Thomas said, "I knew I was drafting a player that had a chance to be exceptional in the NBA. I knew McGrady had the skill set to make the leap. He could pass, he could shoot, but he was a willing passer. He wasn't a passer looking to fill the stat sheet, although he did fill the stat sheet with his play. He played the game in a very unselfish way." The legendary Pistons point guard turned out to be right, with McGrady being one of the best players in league history when fully healthy. Other NBA greats could see it too. On an episode of Open Court, Steve Kerr, a player widely regarded as one of the best shooters of all time and a multiple NBA championship winner with the Chicago Bulls and San Antonio Spurs, discussed Tracy McGrady's abilities with fellow legends present on the show. He had this to say of the mercurial scoring machine: "He's as talented a player as I've ever seen." Grant Hill, who was also on the episode, was in agreement and said, "As far as talent and going out and scoring the way he scored, you have to have a little bit of fire." High praise indeed for McGrady from players who have played with and against some of the greatest names in the game. And the praise doesn't stop there either. Meta World Peace, a legend of the game and cult hero to many basketball fans around the world, believes McGrady was as good as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant at one point. In an interview from Complex World, Peace said, "As far as talent, Tracy had it all. He probably would have averaged the same amount of points nowadays as he did back then. He was good. Very, very talented. Definitely was on the level of Kobe and Jordan at one point in time." That's high praise indeed. but it's probably warranted given how special a player he was at the peak of his powers. In fact, Kobe Bryant sung the praises of McGrady throughout his career and often said McGrady was the toughest matchup he ever had. Kobe said of McGrady, "The dude was unbelievable. He could do everything. I think I told him one time, I said, bro, you can do everything I can do on the court, but you're 6'10". Literally everything. I mean, he had no weaknesses, offensively or defensively, and he was a nightmare to guard. That's incredibly high praise from one of the best basketball players in the history of the NBA. When Kobe did an interview for Ball Is Life alongside Tracy McGrady, he said, "I wish if I had one player to play with, it was this guy. Because I mean, he could do everything I could do, but he was taller." Essentially then, with height being a crucial advantage in basketball, Kobe was admitting that McGrady was perhaps a better player than he was in his prime. And that debate is one that has raged since the two first battled it out on the NBA hardwood. Unfortunately, McGrady had several serious injuries in the prime of his career and so was unable to live up to his full potential and enjoy a sustained spell in the NBA the way Kobe did. And so we'll never know just how good McGrady could have been, but we do know what NBA legends think of how good he was in his prime. So we're going to bring you more of that. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant's partner in crime for the Lakers three-peat of the early 2000s, revealed in an interview with Complex in 2018 that he would have picked Tracy McGrady over Kobe Bryant if given the choice. The conversation was in relation to the new format for the NBA All-Star Game, in which the lead vote-getter for each conference becomes captain and they take it in turns picking players. Kobe was asked who he would have picked first if he were captain and went with LeBron James over his teammate Shaq. When the same question was posed to Big Diesel, he said, "I'd probably pick Tmac over LeBron and Kobe." Many consider LeBron James and Kobe Bryant to be among the top 5 players ever to play in the NBA. So for Shaquille O'Neal to say he would take Tracy McGrady over those two NBA legends gives you an idea of just how dangerous and talented McGrady was in his prime. Shaq is famous for his funny and often controversial comments as an NBA analyst. He once admitted that there were 4 players in the league during his time as a player that he would let just do whatever they wanted because he was such a huge admirer of the way they played. Among those on the list was Tracy McGrady. Yet more evidence that prime Tracy McGrady was a must-see talent in the league and one of the best players to ever grace a court in the NBA. Another pair of legendary point guards who are big fans of Tracy McGrady are NBA champions Chauncey Billups and Steven Jackson. The pair appeared on an episode of The Jump in which Billups discussed the first time he ever saw McGrady play. Billups said, "I was a counselor at the ADCD camp and Tracy McGrady was an unknown. Lamar Odom was the best player in the country at the time, and the first game of the camp, Tmac played against Lamar, and I'll just say this. Tmac went from an unknown to the best player in the country in one game. It was unbelievable." Joining his fellow championship point guard in praising McGrady, Steven Jackson said of Tmac, "He was the best high school prospect I've ever seen. He was a man amongst boys. He was doing things that NBA players were doing in high school." It's clear then that both knew early on just how good McGrady was as a player. Given the career he went on to have and the numbers he put up in his prime, we think it's pretty fair to say they pretty much hit the nail on the head with their prediction that McGrady was the best prospect in the country. T-Mac will remain one of the biggest what-if stories in the NBA thanks to his long list of debilitating injuries. Nonetheless, he is also one of the best players the league has ever seen, and the praise of NBA legends across generations is testament to his ability on the basketball court. There you have it, Latest Hoops family. Prime T-Mac truly was a beast. We've put together an awesome compilation of endorsements by some of the biggest and brightest names in the game to confirm exactly that. Thanks for watching another Latest Hoops exclusive video paying homage to one of the greatest small forwards in the history of the game. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the Latest Hoops YouTube channel back in regularly for must-see NBA content. We'll see you soon, Hoops fans, and until then, keep shooting your shot.